Yesterday, you had an assignment that introduced you to personal budgeting. After you have secured a job and after you have received some paychecks, you need to learn to spend the money wisely, and that involves making a plan called a budget. You had a short video on that topic as well yesterday. Today, we're going to look at using, actually constructing and then using a budget. On the screen, you see a sample personal budget for the year 2017. This is part of a software program called Excel. Some of you may be familiar with it, some may not be. But basically, this is a program, as we'll see, that helps you with a lot of calculations and puts things in a very organized fashion. And it's a very good program to use for things like constructing a budget. So what we have here is a sample budget. What I've done is put together some numbers for a fictitious high school student that has some income. In fact, this person has two part-time jobs. If you look over here, you see part-time job number one, part-time job number two, and you see some numbers. These numbers are 900, 465 are monthly totals. What we're doing is constructing a monthly budget. So first of all, you need to know how much you make. And the money for the part-time jobs will be your net pay, not the gross pay. This is the money that actually you have to use. This is the take-home pay. After all those deductions we learned about, all those taxes, all those optional pension plan deductions, all of that is taken out. And we end up during the month of for part-time job number one, $900 take-home pay. The person has another job, $465. I'm not too sure how much time this person has to go to school, but he or she has two part-time jobs. And the total net, again, this is take-home, the total net monthly income is $1,365. Now, one of the things that I want to point out at this point is something that Excel can do for you. If you notice this total, $1,365, this is actually a formula that you might see up here. This is the formula line up here at the top. It says equal sum D8 and D9. That refers to cells. D is a column. In this case, way over to the left is 8, which is the row. So that cell, $900, is identified as D8. Column D, row 8. The 465 is column D, row 9. So the formula is the sum of D8 and D9. So if I change these numbers, it will automatically change the total. So let's do that. Let's say this is 1,000. And you see now it says 465 instead of, 1465 instead of 1365. So it will automatically make those changes. Let's go back and put the 900 back in, and that's the original total, 1365. So that's where we start. We start with the income. Then we begin looking at expenses, the monthly expenses. One of the things that your video talked to you about yesterday was deciding which expenses are needs and which are wants. In other words, what do you have to spend and what do you want to spend? If you have a car, this person here you see has a car payment, so he or she must own a car, and he or she is making payments on that car every month. So that's a need. You have to do that. You don't have any choice. At least you shouldn't. You have to pay your car payment every month. So the car payment a month is $350. You see gasoline, obviously need that to run the car, and we're going to put in 100. We'll come back to that figure in a few minutes. We have school supplies, computer payment. So obviously this student bought a computer and is making payments on it of $120 a month. Cell phone costs this person $90 a month. And entertainment, this is considered certainly a want. And we have $150 a month allocated for entertainment. And that can vary, as we'll see. We have expense for clothes, online subscriptions, and then something called miscellaneous. Something comes up. Some odd expense may come up during the month, and this person has allocated $50 for miscellaneous expenses. The next category is monthly savings, and this is an important category that you really ought to think about. The video yesterday talked about this as a priority. It's one of the steps that you really should think about first. How much can you afford to save? And you really need to do that if you can. Out of the income of $1,365 every month, how much can you save? Well, we've got some categories. We want to save for gifts, birthday gifts, Christmas, whatever, and we put $20 in that category. Car insurance. Okay, we own a car. We have to make car payments up here of $350 a month, and we're also going to have to buy insurance for that car. Now, that may be monthly. If it is, we would put it up here for your monthly expenses and add it as one of the monthly expenses. But very often you pay car insurance every 6 months or once a year. So if you know that your car insurance is a certain amount of money that you have to pay every 6 months, you simply divide that by 6 and you come up with a monthly amount that you have to save. So this person decides that every month he or she needs to save $125 for car insurance. Then at the end of 6 months, when the bill comes, then you have money saved up for car insurance. Repairs and maintenance. This could be a monthly thing. Hopefully it's not a monthly thing, but could be. If that would be the case, you'd put it up here with monthly expenses. But we're assuming that that's not going to happen every single month. But we should put money away for repairs and maintenance. Oil changes, for example. You may need new tires at some point. So this person has decided to save $100 every month for those kind of expenses that may come up later. Excuse me. He or she is saving for vacation. They want to go on vacation. Wonderful. A little bit of money there. And then taxes. We know that eventually, at the end of the year, whether we put 1 or whether we put 0 on the W-4 for federal and on the IT-4 for state income taxes, we may have to still pay money. We don't know that for sure, but just in case, this person is saving a little bit of money each month, just in case at the end of the year, he or she needs to pay some income taxes to federal or to state. And then charitable giving. You should always think about that. It's always a good idea to begin helping others, and that's something you, I'm sure, talked about in your Catholic high school many times. We need to help those in need in many ways. So this person has decided at least a little bit of money goes into savings every month, and then occasionally during the year, he or she will give money to charity. And if you look at this number right here, the 320, again, I want to go back to the formula idea. This 320 represents the total of these numbers that we have decided to put into savings each month. What do they add up to? Well, they add up to $320. If you look at the formula way at the top, way up here again at the top of your spreadsheet page, you see this is a sum of cells C24 through C30. So this is C is a column, line 24, and down here is C, the column C, and the line 30. So this formula tells me that you're adding C24 through C30. So these numbers are added up and are put right here by the formula. So if you change any of these, it'll change the total, which is nice and convenient. You don't have to re-add the totals all the time. So if you decide you need $400 for car repairs a month, let's change that to 400 and see what happens to the 320. You see, it's going up. Okay, 320 is now 620. So let's put the 100 back in, and we're back to this total. Very convenient. Another formula here, the 1365. This total, if you look way at the top again, is the sum of D13, again the column D13, which is way up here, the first monthly expense, D13, through, it says, the formula says through D31, which is this number, okay? So all the expenses that we have to spend during the month and all the savings that we're going to put into the bank add up to 1365. This is the idea of the budget. You want your income, your total income, to equal your total expenses. That's the perfect budget. So down here, there's another formula. And if you look at way at the top again, it says equals D10, which is this number, column D, row 10. Okay, we go back down here. It says sum of, oops, wait, I'm in the wrong place. Let's go way down here. This total is D10, which was the 1365, minus D33, which is your total expenses, column D, line 33. So if you add 1365 up here, subtract 1365 down here, obviously it's 0. You've got a perfect budget. So that's ideal. You're never going to hit the perfect budget. Very unlikely at any rate. The columns to the right then, beginning with column E, are the month columns. We're assuming this is the year 2017. In January, this was the income. Well, it should be. He didn't work any, or she did not work any overtime, and the part-time job is paid exactly what he or she thought they would pay. Then we see the expenses. Some of these will be as expected. The car payment should be the same every month. Gasoline will be different every month. It's very unlikely you're going to spend exactly $100 a month on gasoline. School supplies, a little different than what was budgeted. Computer payment is the same. Again, that should be the same every month. Cell phone, the same every month. So in January it's 90. Entertainment, well, we went a little high this month of January. We budgeted 150, spent more than that. Clothes, didn't spend as much on clothes in January. Got a lot of gifts for Christmas, apparently didn't need to buy many clothes. So we budgeted 50, only spent $22.98. Online subscriptions, same every month, 110. Miscellaneous expense was, for whatever else came up, added to $32. And then down here all are the saving categories. So we should be putting in the same amount each month for all of these categories. We budgeted this much in all those categories, and we put in this much in savings. Very good job. We put in what we said we were going to put in. Now, if you look at total income, 1365, which it would be every month. And if you look at total expenses, a little bit different than we budgeted. This is total expenses and savings. 1365 was budgeted, and we spent a little bit less than that. So in the month of January, we actually end up with a little over $30 to the good, a little bit of extra money to have. Now, not a lot, but a little bit. So we know that we can't have $1,365 just to spend on any crazy thing. We need to take care of all these expenses as we do every month, we have to make sure we put all this money in savings